Some interesting news coming out of the United States of America. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is the new Secretary of Health and Human Services under Trump's administration. Yes, you heard that right. The same RFK Jr., known for his controversial views, or rather, his honest views, according to his own research, on vaccines. He is now in charge of America's health policy. Now, the vote was tight, with several Republicans crossing party lines to oppose the nomination. But in the end, Kennedy squeezed through with a 51-49 majority. Take a look at this.
It'd be a real honor for me to introduce Robert F. Kennedy Jr., take the oath of office and officially become our Secretary of Health and Human Services. Just as I promised last year, Bobby is going to lead a great national mission to make America healthy again, and he's going to do it. I think he's going to do things that will really make us very proud of this day. Like his father, Senator Robert F. Kennedy, and his uncle, President John F. Kennedy, Bobby has devoted much of his life to serving his fellow Americans in his campaign for president, and he was a very tough competitor. I did not like it at all. I said, let's get him on my side. But in his campaign for president in 2024, Bobby brought together a coalition of supporters across party lines, and he really worked very hard, and he had tremendous support, unbelievable support, and I think a lot of that support came my way when we decided to do a little merger, and it was really great, and it was very loyal, incredible people. They believe in him so strongly because he's a fierce advocate for the health of our children and for the values of free speech, democracy, and peace.
Now, there you have it. Somebody who is closely related to the former president of the United States. Now, he is a very vocal critic of vaccines, and he's been like that for years. He's even gone as far as comparing vaccinations to the Holocaust. Now, I've had videos taken down by YouTube because I spoke about vaccines. I'm not going to speak about them. I'm going to ask you in the comment section, let us know, what are your thoughts about vaccines? Now, his appointment has raised eyebrows, and a lot of people's blood pressures are increasing. Some in the medical community, some that are not even. But the American Medical Association released a statement saying they are concerned about the appointment. Meanwhile, Trump supporters are saying, no, this is a victory for medical freedom, as they feel that for many years they've been restricted in this Holocaust-like medical environment. And the confirmation vote saw several Republican senators breaking ranks to oppose Kennedy's nomination, citing concerns over his stance about public health issues, particularly vaccines. But despite this opposition, Kennedy secured the simple majority needed for confirmation. Kennedy will now oversee agencies like CDC, FDA, NIH. The confirmation of Robert F. Kennedy Jr. as a Health and Human Services Secretary marks a significant turning point in America's health policy. It reflects Trump's administration, his willingness to challenge the established norms, even getting rid of unconventional voices in key positions. His appointment marks a significant shift at the administration's approach to public health policy. Now, Kennedy's well-documented skepticism towards vaccines and other established medical practices could lead to substantial changes in how the Department of Health and Human Services operate. The confirmation has already sparked intense debate among healthcare professionals, politicians, and public supporters. Some are arguing that Kennedy will bring a fresh perspective to this role, while critics are saying, hey, there could be issues here. But the story really going on is that a lot of people that supported vaccines are aware of the damages that are going on because of them. And Kennedy, as being a member of Trump's administration, might just go after them. Dr. Fauci, Bill Gates. These are some concerned people that are concerned that through a valiant man like JF there, they might just find themselves in prison or find themselves deeply concerned if they were, or if they did create a virus and create a vaccine to profit out of people's lives. But I don't want to add any more because the last time I did, YouTube did ban my video. So I will be quiet. Now, moving on, Trump's education is quite interesting. He's basically asked Linda McMahon to get into the Department of Education and shut it down. Listen to this.
It was put in place ostensibly for more diversity, for equity and inclusion, and I think what we're seeing is that it's having an opposite effect. We are getting back to more segregating of our schools instead of having more inclusion in our schools. When there are DEI programs that say that Black students need separate graduation ceremonies or Hispanics need separate ceremonies. We are not achieving what we wanted to achieve with inclusion.
Let me give you an example then. So this order applies to Department of Defense schools, and those schools have canceled all programming around Black History Month. So if a school in Connecticut celebrates Martin Luther King Day and has a series of events and programming teaching about Black history, are they in violation of a policy that says schools should stop running DEI programs?
Not in my view. That is clearly not the case. That celebration of Martin Luther King Day and Black History Month should be celebrated throughout all of our schools. I believe that Martin Luther King was one of the strongest proponents of making sure that we look at all of our populations when he said that, he would hope that his children wouldn't be judged by the color of their skin, but the content of their character. And I think that is the fundamental basis that we should celebrate Black History Month.
West Point has closed down all ethnic clubs, so the Society of Black Engineers no longer can meet because they believe that to be in compliance with this order, they cannot have groups structured around ethnic or racial affiliations. Would schools, would public schools be in violation of this order? Would they risk funding if they had clubs that students could belong to based on their racial or ethnic identity?
Well, I certainly today don't want to address, hypothetical situations. I would like, once I'm confirmed, to get in and assess these programs, look at what has been covered.
That's a pretty easy one. I mean, you're saying that it's a possibility that if a school has a club for Vietnamese American students or Black students where they meet after school, that they could be potentially in jeopardy of receiving federal funding?
Again, I would like to fully what the order is and what those clubs are doing.
Now, this was a very tough one for me because firstly, America is a racist country. I spent some time in New York, and what I did realize in New York City was that Black people, Hispanics, Mexicans, they're all treated very unfairly. Obviously, people have said to me that there are areas like Atlanta, and people said, well, why not go to Atlanta? You'll be treated okay there. So there is a racism issue. However, there are some stances that I agree with the former or the current WWE wrestling mogul that's now turned into a small business administrator. I do agree with some of his stance. Although Americans are saying that she has zero education experience, and they're saying that, hey, she wants to slash federal oversight, and they're saying that her agenda is to get rid of a lot of things that are very helpful. I do think that there are some points that she makes that are valid. We can't be allowing graduations to be separate and sort of create this illusion that Black kids are doing well because they're now being compared against Black kids. Because when they get to the work environment, they're going to be working with everybody. So that's a point where I agree, and we must stop that, But where I do find a few issues is that if she's coming in and she's saying she wants to touch Black History Month and Martin Luther King, and she doesn't want to, so I'll leave that. But if the question that was posed at the end to say, but what about Black engineers groups? What then would you do? And I think for me, that's something that I'm honestly struggling to answer at the same time. But her answer was that I'm going to look at them, assess them, and make my decision. But it's interesting. It's concerning. I think some of my concerns that they're busy saying that she might jeopardize college access for 6 million Americans. And even though Trump's party, the Republican Party, is very separated about this and calling these calls unconstitutional, she's just dropped a couple of truth bombs that got everybody talking. McMahon stated that while she believes in local control of education, there are limits. And she's also questioning a couple of things in this. And during a Senate Education Committee confirmation hearing, the exchange focused on the implications of the recent Trump administration's order of restricting federal funding for diversity, equity, and inclusion, DEI programs in school. And a lot of people are very concerned about this, but I think for myself, I don't want to comment on it yet. I want to see the end of this, but we will be playing a very close eye to see what she does. McMahon has spoken about how these DEI programs, that they basically lead to federal funding being abused, and that's why she wants to stop it. And a lot of people have spoken about this, and she's expressed skepticism about these DEI programs. She's stating that they were too tough and potentially having an opposite effect of the intended goals. She's also criticized a lot of different things, and some people have come to say McMahon lacks the clarity needed to be able to do this, and they're saying that she's just scrambling to understand the implications of this executive order. However, she's indicated, McMahon, that she needs to further review the executive order before making any definitive statements. What do you think about the executive order to stop back funding on DEI programs? Let us know what your thoughts are. I'm seeing Donald Trump make aggressive moves, bold moves, different moves. Is this what America needs to build and become stronger? Is this what America needs to become number one? Because let's be honest, the United Emirates is coming on the heels of America to become better. When you have the United Emirates now funding America with its AI programs through Stargate that Trump was boasting about, who's really controlling the world here? Who really has the money here? When you have crypto startups that started in America now moving over to the US, to the United Emirates and becoming big, who's really in control of the world? Who's leading? Is America still in charge? Is the UAE still in charge? Is Trump what they need to come back? Is Elon Musk and Sam Altman's fight for ruling AI causing America to lose their prestigious American dream that everybody wants to come through for? And are people looking elsewhere? Interesting things happening in the US. Let us know what your thoughts are, as we love hearing from you. And remember to like and subscribe and share this with at least 5 people. It's a different perspective on America, but it might just be the correct perspective.